Today, we have 3 stories from r/Am I the Bumhole, a place where OPs find out if they were wrong in an argument that's been bothering them. First we have is when OP told her vegan friend that she is tired of catering to her choices. Am I the bumhole for telling my vegan friend who doesn't drink I'm tired of catering to her choices? I 50F and my friend Lauren 46F. Lauren is a vegan who doesn't drink. That's awesome, and I have no issue with that. The problem is that she is part of a small group of friends who don't get out very often, but when we do it always has to be limited due to Lauren's choices. We live in an area where our food choices suck to begin with, so having to go to eat where she can be satisfied is very limited. There really isn't much to do otherwise at night. In addition, she gets upset when any one of us eats something that has an obvious meat to it. For example, she doesn't say anything if we get a soup with chicken or something, but if we ordered a hamburger, she would cause drama. Then she doesn't drink, which is no big deal, but she will then send us videos on the harmful effects of alcohol if we get a drink or two with dinner. It has gotten on my nerves, to say the least. It's been a while now, so I am done with everyone catering to her needs. I have tried inviting everyone to specific places and invited Lauren as well. Then she puts into a group chat, "Hey ladies, since I can't eat at X, why don't we go to Y?" Then of course, the other ones decide we should go to Y instead. I have backed off of going out because I don't want to spend money on food that sucks. Remember, it's vegan, not vegetarian, so it's very limiting, and is expensive, or have my intelligence questioned by sending crap about the effects of alcohol, as if we are not beyond old enough to know or Google it. I barely drink anyway, but enjoy a glass or two every so often. She asked why I keep bailing, so I told her, I respect your choices, but by the very nature of them, they have limited mine. Being that I don't have the ability to go out often nor unlimited funds, I am only going to go when I know the entire experience will be what I want. So if I am in the mood for a steak and a vodka tonic, I want to have them in a relaxed atmosphere, and that obviously bugs you. If I'm in the mood for a salad and water, I will gladly join you, or we can just hang out at the beach when we have time during the day. She didn't like that too much. She said that isn't what friendship is about, and I should enjoy the company enough not to care. I told her that I understood, and I would gladly hang out with her when food or drink isn't in question because it's too expensive not to enjoy it. She said that there is nothing else to do around here. Then I asked if it's just about friends. Maybe she can eat first and join us out sometimes, and other times we can go to where she wants. She then told me that she's not going to sit around watching people eat meat. I said, okay, I get it, and you need to get that I'm not catering to your needs each time I'm free to hang out. I later got a text from a mutual friend that Lauren was upset, but she agreed with me because she was tired of the same thing. Of course, this friend doesn't like conflict, so just listen to Lauren. So am I the bumhole for not wanting to continue to eat food I don't like, or refrain from having a drink or two to keep the peace here? Or am I right in feeling like she's being selfish, expecting the rest of us to do what she's comfortable with each time? Not the bumhole, but drop the friends that don't like conflict. Why surround yourself with spineless morons? Not the bumhole. Lauren is a bum, though. The condescending comments about meat and alcohol are beyond to me. Not the bumhole. She's exactly right. That isn't what friendship is about, and so why can't she enjoy hanging out with her friends who are allowed to eat and drink whatever they want, while she eats and drinks what she wants? I'm sorry, there's probably not a great ending here, but the way she's framed the situation can easily be turned around back on her. So she's not right. Neither is she wrong. It just may be that you two are incompatible as friends. Update. Thank you so much to the countless people who commented. You made me realize that I wasn't a bum and shouldn't have put up with her BS. Many asked how I'd put up with it for so long. I don't have a good answer, but it was more about the group itself where I didn't want to create drama. My experience with friends has been lucky, as most everyone has been loving, fun, and selfless. We can also call each other out on BS by busting chops and laughing. This was my first group who met semi-regularly, and the others were very sweet to where I felt uncomfortable rocking the boat. Anyway, yesterday it was a bazillion degrees out here in Florida, and I was playing tennis with Lauren and 2 others. We were dying. I don't normally play with her, but these women are all on my team I joined coming up in the fall, so we needed to start practicing. No, I did not join because of Lauren. I've played against the other 2 throughout the years, and they have been asking for me to play for a long time now. I live in a small area, so it's common for circles to mix like this. One of the ladies had to stop due to dizziness, cramping, and nausea. We all decided that we should only play much earlier in the summer, except of course Lauren, who didn't want to wake up early because she said she didn't play well then. That's when I had it. With the power of thousands of random Reddit strangers in my head, I basically told her off. I told her I've never met someone so self-absorbed in my entire life, and it was disgusting that she would even think that way in front of a teammate who clearly had heat exhaustion, let alone have it come out of her mouth. I said all this while her bottom was sitting down while the other woman, and I got a cold wet towel for this woman and got her to drink. Lauren stormed off. These other 2 thanked me. One was her usual partner, who is the sweetest person alive, and said she has been wanting to tell her off for a year now. The other one, who was feeling like crap, said she is going to tell the captain that she needs to go because she is like a cancer on the team. I am very happy to say that I will not be dealing with her selfish BS any longer. She can go to hell for all I care. Thanks so much, everyone. Tonight I'm going to have a giant hamburger and a cold beverage in your honor. Cheers. Next we have is when our OP ordered pizza at his friend's wedding because of availability of food there. Am I the bumhole for ordering pizza at my friend's wedding because there was no food? My wife and I were invited to my friend's wedding. The wedding was going to have about 70 people, with mostly family. When we got there, we were seated at a table with some other people. Nice people, and we mingled well and had a good time chatting. The wedding was also quite nice. Both my friend and his new wife were very happy. After the ceremony, every table got 2 bottles of wine, bread/butter, and there also was an open bar, so we started to have a few drinks. Then the food came out. It looked really good. The food was set up for the buffet. I was half buzzed and looking forward to getting some food in my belly. When it was time to eat, every few tables at a time were going to get called, which is fine. The first few tables that were called were understandably the family of both sides. Then the rest were. The problem was that the family members, his in-laws, are larger people. Now, I don't shame people for how much they eat, but I noticed the helpings of food they had while I was patiently waiting for us to be called. I also noticed that they went for seconds before all the tables were called, and no one stopped them. I didn't say anything, though I thought that was rude. I just assumed that there was just a lot of food. To my surprise, by the time we were called, there was nothing left. I asked if there was more coming out, and apparently that already occurred. So we grabbed the little we could and went back to sit down and ate the scraps. We were all still pretty hungry and a bit pissed off, so we kinda bash-talked that the first few tables ate all the food. Someone mentioned that they could go for some pizza, and then I had the drunken idea of ordering some. So that is what we did. We all pitched in and ordered 4 large pizzas and some chicken wings from a local pizza joint close to the venue, so it didn't take long to be delivered. I met the guy outside and brought the food to our table, and we started to eat. Some of the other tables noticed and asked where the pizza came from. Apparently some of the other tables close to ours didn't get any food either, so we shared with them. This caused some commotion because other people were looking for it and asking the wedding party if there was pizza available. I guess there were others that didn't get to eat either. We did share with anyone who asked us. My friend came to talk to me about why I ordered the food. His bride was not happy about it. It ruined the aesthetics. So I told him that we didn't get to eat and that the food ran out long before our table was called, and we were really hungry. He then asked why we didn't just step out and eat then come back. Though annoyed about that, I respectfully explained to him that we were all drinking on an empty stomach and that it probably wasn't the best idea to have drunk people walking around looking for food. I don't think he liked that, but went back to his bride who was glaring at us. Like, what were we supposed to do, starve? This wasn't the end, though. As we were finishing eating, one of the in-laws came to our table, and he asked where the pizza came from. This is where I may be the bum. There were 2 slices left. I knew he was eyeing them. I asked the other people at my table if they wanted one. Everyone declined. This guy then said he'd have one. I then took the 2 slices, I put them on my plate, and started to eat them, then looked at him and said something like, "No, you and everyone at your tables had way more than your fair share of the buffet, and ate all of it. This is the reason we ordered food in the first place, and now you have the nerve to ask us to share." His face went red, and he returned to his table. There was a lot of discussion going on there. They were all looking back at us with daggers. The bride looked even more ticked off at us. She had a bit of an argument with my friend. He eventually came back to tell us we had to leave. I didn't mean to start any problems, so me and my wife called a cab and left. He called me a few days later, and we had a long talk. I explained my perspective, and he agreed that his in-laws were really rude for eating all the food and leaving most of the other guests with very little. A lot of people actually complained to him about it. Everyone was drinking thinking that there would be food, and they were disappointed. He was upset with his in-laws because he told them how many guests there would be and to order the food for that many people. He also saw how much they were taking but assumed they ordered enough. He was wrong. He brought this up with his wife, and she said that apparently because the in-laws paid for the alcohol and the food, they felt entitled to eat what they wanted. She was really mad at them and reamed them out for tainting her special day. He also said a lot of the other non-family guests started to leave soon after we left because they too were hungry. They still had fun celebrating, but it did kind of put a downer on their special day. Out of 70 people, about 30 left. I also found out that the guy that came to our table was his father-in-law. Father-in-law was really embarrassed by what I said to him. He felt pretty bad when he found out close to half the guests didn't get to eat anything and left early. So am I the bumhole? Not the bumhole. There is no reason other tables should have had seconds before you had firsts. I can understand miscalculating how much food would be needed, but they didn't even try to triage. You are definitely not the bumhole. It is always better to have leftovers people can take home than have 1/3 of your guests, or any guests, end up with no food. Shame on those in-laws. Usually the host eats last, and guests eat first. Final one we have is when our OP let her stepson move in with her because his father kicked him out. Am I the bumhole for letting my stepson move in with me after he got kicked out by his dad? I, 37F, divorced my ex-husband, 40M, 2 years ago. He has a son, 17M, from a previous marriage, whom I've known since he was 6. Despite the divorce, I've maintained a close relationship with my stepson. We've always had a special bond, and he often confides in me about things he doesn't feel comfortable sharing with his dad. Recently, my stepson got into a huge argument with his dad over his dad's new girlfriend and her children. My ex recently started dating someone new who has kids of her own, and my stepson felt like he was being pushed aside in favor of them. The argument escalated, and my ex-husband told him to leave, saying he needed to learn responsibility and that he won't always be there to baby him. My stepson packed his bags and came to my apartment. I live in a small place with 2 rooms. One I use as my bedroom, and the other as my workroom. Without much thought, I allowed him to stay in my workroom. I couldn't bear the thought of him being out on the streets or in an unsafe situation. When my ex found out, he called me. He said that he wasn't actually going to kick his son out, and that it was supposed to be a scare tactic to teach him a lesson. He accused me of undermining his authority and making him look like the bad guy, insisting that I had no right to interfere since I'm not his real mother. This really upset me. I told him that using such tactics was cruel and that he couldn't expect a 17-year-old to understand the difference between a scare tactic and a real threat. Our conversations have become more strained, even though we are no longer married. He's saying that I'm interfering with his parenting, and that I should have consulted him before making any decisions. My stepson has been adjusting well, and even cooked me dinner after work, which I appreciate a lot since I work long hours. Am I the bumhole for letting my stepson move in with me after his dad kicked him out? Not the bumhole. How was this just a scare tactic, when your ex-husband did actually kick his son out and he had nowhere to go that night? You did the right thing by letting him stay. He is still a kid and shouldn't be left alone on the streets. Where was he supposed to go if you hadn't let him stay with you? Your ex is the bum here. Also, you've known your stepson since he was 6. Just because you're not his biological mom doesn't mean he isn't just as important to you as he would be if he were yours. You were his mom until the age of 15 and you're divorced. Doesn't mean that you can't go on being a caring mother. You did the right thing, and your stepson sounds like a sweet kid, cooking you dinner. I hope you guys maintain your special bond and not let your ex ruin this for you both. Not the bumhole. Nope, Dad overplayed his hand and now has to deal with it.